Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match between Last and Zero here on Circuit Breakers. Going to be a good one between these two players. Bottom right-hand corner is the blue Zerg player. His name is Zero. And in the bottom left-hand corner, the yellow Terran player. Man, I love yellow. It is Last. I know it says Mithra versus Everty Ashley up there, but these are their Smurf names, or one of their Smurf names. Every single professional StarCraft player has so many Smurf names, you guys. Thank you so much for Wikipedia for keeping track of all of them. Alright, so ZVT here on Circuit Breakers. We've had a lot of games on this map recently, so I don't think you need a tour of it. It's approaching, approaching the status of Fighting Spirit, based on the regularity with which I cast games on that map. Alright, so TVZ here. And hey, I'm doing 4 Brood War casts a week, you guys. If you want a 5th, patreon.com/FalconPaladin for as little as $1 a month pledged to me gets you access to the extra 5th Brood War cast. It is just like this one, professional players, and that's it. Whew. Alright, so where are we with this? Is anybody doing anything interesting at all yet? Nah, man, we're only a minute and 30 into this thing. There is no pool coming up at all. Droning his face off here. Zero. Haven't cast much Zero. A lot more Last, I want to say. Much more Last here. But I did cash an amazing game between Flash and Zero that recently got over 100,000 views. So if you're interested in that one, it is an insane, epic tagged TVZ between these two players, and it's just bonkers all the way around. There's action all over the place. It's chaotic. There are bases all over the map. It gets like 40 minutes into the game, and so there's tons of expansions everywhere, and Ultralisks show up, and Dark Swarm, and drops, and whew, it is a time. I tell you what, if you want to see that, let me know. I'll put it in the description. If you remind me, I'll definitely make that happen. So anyway, is that a command center first? Are you? Wow. Last is going command center first here against a Zerg opponent. So the response here from the Zerg can be either going for a 2-base attack, which is going to be pretty devastating, as the tech for the Terran, will be fairly far behind, or going for a 3rd base pretty darn early to try to keep up. What Zero was doing here is actually just throwing up a macro hatch inside of his own main base, which is going to be good for production, but it doesn't allow him to stay ahead of the Terran player in economy. So we'll see what he does with that. This is kind of like a middle ground. I'm not sure how I feel about it personally, but obviously Zero is a much better player than I am, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see where this leads. I mean, it's extra larva production, and really that can allow you to be aggressive or extra macro-y if you want. This drone is just getting shots off and SCVs all over the place, trying to avoid getting stabbed and shocked by the little laser zapper attachment on the end of these SCVs' hands. They don't do a lot of damage, but it does stack up. But drones do recover HP over time, and SCVs don't, which is why the drone is allowed to do this. So there's your command center first flying down there. He didn't just build it on site, just in case this happened to be a quick, like a 4 pool or something, in which case he could go ahead and wall off the barracks at the top of the ramp and keep the command center safe. But at this point, he recognizes the SCV says the spawning pool isn't even done yet. I don't have to worry about any number of lings for at least a couple of minutes now. And so far, so good for my command center first play. I am a hero. Might want to throw down a bunker, though. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this. I think the SCV is scouting to see, are there any lings coming out? And yes, there are 3 sets of lings. There are 6 lings in production now. And again, just the macro hatch, which he is using for Zerglings. So it's not just here for no reason at this point, which is definitely working out in his favor. Meanwhile, Engineering Bay, that is a pretty darn quick Engineering Bay here, too. That has got to be for upgrades more than anything else. There's no way he's worried about Mutalisks this early. Engineering Bay and an Academy coming in, too. So this just feels like a lot of upgraded Marines in the early stages here. A couple barracks on the opening, really just double pumping SCVs pretty much as fast as he can here. Now he's going to go ahead and toss down a supply depot to wall off the bottom of the ramp because he knows there are lings on the way. This SCV scouted them. Really hero scouting SCV there. Ooh, hang on. Ooh, that's the one extractor. There's the second extractor, and there is your lair. So it is going to be a 2-base Muta play here out of Zero. He's got the macro hatch for additional larva as necessary, and that's why the Engineering Bay is really important. He's not using it right now to go for missile turrets, but it is allowing him to get +1 for his Marines, which they will have by the time the Mutas show up. And having Marines with upgrades just makes them so much better. especially if they have the range upgrade, as we're going to work on here too, I guess, and stim really makes it great. Great positioning here on these Marines. Not allowing the Lings to go for surrounds at all, but they're going for it anyway here. SCV's blocking off the top side. Marines are going down fairly quickly right now, and in fact, the SCVs are going to have to get in here or everything is going to die, and in fact, the Lings get into the main base. 4 of them do survive the carnage at the front door. There are no Marines here to protect them whatsoever, and the SCVs, again, are going to have to just take this into their own little hand and claw attachments, and you know what? They cleaned that up very, very well. Nicely done. Some fire bats popped out, but they were not even necessary, as the Lings were all killed by the SCVs beforehand. So fantastic job. And you know what? I lied. It is not going to be Mutalisks. It is going to be Lurkers. A 2-base Lurker rush here. More Lings cruising across the map here. Firebats are moving out to meet them. And I don't know, man. Without any support from medics, this is not going to look all that good for you guys. You get surrounded, you die just like everything else. They are running, though. They are running back to the support of their Marines. They recognize by ourselves we're not that great against this many Zerglings, but if we're kept alive, our splash damage of fire is incredibly important here. So far, well defended, I gotta say, at a last. Sure, some Lings made it up into his main base a little bit, but they got taken care of fairly quickly, and otherwise, a couple SCVs have died, a bunch of Marines have died. But overall, it's been a pretty nice defense here from the Terran player. Okay, did you let more in? Nope. Firebat made sure of that. Firebat said no. You're not getting inside the main base at all. These Hydras are here. They do not have upgrades because they're going to be Lurkers instead. And the range upgrade and the speed upgrade don't really matter. Third base coming up back home on the other side of the map here for 0. Fantastic job. Also a Queen's Nest. I do like a good Queen's Nest here. Probably going to go for a hive. Very quick hive. Out of 0. I am super, super on board with what he's trying to do here. So Zerglings are out. Hydras are out. This is a pretty big army for this stage of the game for a Zerg player. His drone count is not all that super hot, whereas it looks a little bit better here for the Terran player, and in fact, much better for the Terran player. Fantastic job. All right, so here come the Lings to say, what is going on? We're going to bait you into these Lurkers that are hatching. There are Lurker eggs over here. If you just come over here like in a... Now is good, actually, if you can make it over. We have a party for you. Got it set up and ready to go. Lings going for the run by. Ooh, that gives a nice angle for the Lurkers to come and set up at the front door here. Oh, gosh, here we go. Lurkers burrowing in. Your ComSat doesn't have the energy to save this. I don't know if it does. I do not see any scans here whatsoever. There is the scan. Lurkers get out of there and actually save all 4 of their lives. They manage to re-burrow in a position to set up more of a contain here rather than an actual aggressive maneuver where you're doing constant damage, more of a siege type situation to the Terran player. More Lurkers on the way. A hive is seriously on the way now for 0. Holy cannoli. That's super impressive here. And until you get tanks out, these Lurkers are kind of hard to deal with. By golly, there's a tank on the way, and by golly, we are researching Vulture Speed, which you'd think that would be Siege Mode, but no, it is definitely not. It's going to be Vulture Speed out of that machine shop first of all. Spire coming in. 0 has a 3rd base, and it's popped, and a macro hatch. I'm kind of loving this out of 0. What else is he doing? Evolution Chamber for upgrades for his dudes. More and more Lurkers keep coming up. Sacrificial Firebat says, yes, there are still Lurkers here. Blah. As the report comes home. And a Defiler Mound. This is the fastest Defiler Mound I have seen in a ZVT in a long time. Oh my. Oh, if he can. Wow. If he can get Dark Swarm up on these guys now. I honestly don't know what last does. That scan's going to wear off. Ooh, another scan came up. All right. So the Lurkers don't like this at all. Some of them are yellow. Yellow is bad. And there we go. Now burrowing up. Recognizing. Oh, there was another scan. Oh, the Lurkers are going to get picked out here. More Lurkers do show up. Burrow on in. And you know what? That did help save the lives of one of these Lurkers. This guy has got 5 kills to his name. He is old school. All his friends are dead, though. It's not a good thing to see here at all. Consume coming in for the Defilers. Defilers under construction. Vulture's actually going for a bit of a run-by here. And what is there to defend against a Vulture run-by? Literally nothing. There is literally nothing anywhere to defend against this. In production, a Hydralisk and a couple Zerglings. Yeah, these are going to be some really, really mean Vultures to all of these drones. Wow. This is exactly what last needed to get back into this game. It's to just destroy a metric ton of drones and maybe kill these Defilers too if they're your target. And actually, you know what? Getting some shots off on that Defiler. Picking off drones here too. Lurkers actually coming home to defend against this, and they do manage to clean out those vultures. 2 more cruising into the 3rd base. That's not a wall there. Nidus might actually allow for pretty quick reinforcements. The vulture scout is there. 4th base. No, thank goodness for that. And then a sunken... Oh, the 2 sunkens do manage to pop here. And suddenly, these vultures are in trouble. Marching across the map. Marines. Medics. I don't... Oh, these drones are hiding from these vultures. Dude, get something in the Nidus. Is that the only one? Oh, the other half of it is not done yet. He can't transfer anything up here to defend against it. And the Marines and the medics are here. These sunkens are not going to do very well against these upgraded Marines with their medics. That +1 attack is complete. Okay, never mind. Oh, they're trying to take down the Nidus, allowing the sunkens to get free shots on them. That's not as good. Oh, tank! No, why? How did that happen? I don't know. That tank was on move command and not on attack move at all. Hydra pops out, says, I can take you down by myself. I'm a Hydralisk. Also, you're both severely injured, so... I'm so... Wait, are we just calling a truce right now? What is going on? Vulture's getting back into the natural mineral line of 0. The aggression has really been on last foot here for the past couple of minutes, and he's been doing a great job with it, too. Killing scores of drones. I had somebody request the other day, hey, Falcon, could you keep track of how many drones get killed during these attacks? How many workers die during harassment? It really sets you apart from everybody else. I'm like, yeah, yes. The reason nobody else does that is because it's impossible. Especially if I'm observing myself and solo casting it. Like maybe if I had a partner and maybe if somebody else was observing, I could actually maintain some brain power to put towards how many workers died during that attack. But at this point, it's not going to happen. Hey, mute a tech switch. How do you like them apples? How many anti-air units do you have now? Ooh, there's a Valkyrie in production, though. Okay, man, I love Valkyries. They're so pretty. They take me back to when Brood War came out and just the new units and all the hotness therein. Man, I love Valkyries so much. It really felt like a longer time between when StarCraft 1 came out and Brood War came out, but it was not. Wow, free donated vultures, I guess. I mean, I guess they're not so great when you have a bunch of Mutalisks flying around, but still, no reason to donate them for free. Hang on. Vulture drop in the 3rd base. Great reaction time from 0, actually. Keep thinking these are army, but they're not. They're just spider mines. Ah, defensive lurkers are going to save the day here. Well done. Well done indeed. Oh, you know what day it is when I'm recording this? It is One Punch Man Day. It is One Punch Man Season 2. And I am just beyond thrilled at how far this season has gone. I am a simple man. Give me Saitama one-punching some stuff, and I am extremely pleased. And this season has delivered on that. Ah, One Punch Man. I don't know why. I don't know why I love it so much, other than that's an entire subversion of the hero culture, especially in the anime world, in the manga world, and it's brilliant that way. Goodbye, dropship. Nothing in there, but dead. Muta's trying to attack on in, and what was, I guess, the Valkyries. The Valkyries are here. Valkyrie prepared. Valkyries were made specifically because Mutas were insanely overpowered in ZVT, in original StarCraft. There really wasn't a great way to deal with them. And so Valkyrie, Terran basically needed some air-to-air splash damage kind of thing, and that's what the Valkyries are, and they look pretty too. I really love it. Also, everything blue came in Brood War. Goliaths didn't have the Charon booster upgrade until Brood War. I mean, really, Blizzard did not expect the multiplayer version of their game to turn into a massive esport and possibly the first esport of all time. I mean, how can you expect that to happen with your multiplayer on your game? And so a lot of the stuff it did in Brood War was specifically to deal with the multiplayer aspects, and that's where the Valkyries come from, and the Charon boosters, and the fact that there are medics and lurkers and whatnot just really changed the game, balanced it up a little bit. Because Bio was just garbage without medics. You could stim your guys, but you never heal them up again. It was not good. It was not good at all. I mean, that small window when StarCraft 1 was a thing. It was bad times for Terran, just tell you that much. But Brood War came out like 6 or 7 months later. That's how these things used to be, guys. Expansions used to come out almost no time later and really just change everything up immensely, so. Alright, so the Mutalisks, we're still making Mutas, are we? Nah, not really. Working on Gamete Meiosis, though. Going for Queens here. We might see some Queens used against the tanks. In which case, it would be the first game we've seen Queens used against tanks with a Zerg player 1. It's entirely possible. I don't know who wins this, but it's in the list of games wherein Spawn Bruling is used against a Terran player. There just aren't many of those, and in every single one of those, the Zerg player dies. Charon booster, speak of the devil, it's here. Look at these Valkyries. Just, they tear apart air units. Just rip them limb from limb. I mean, I suppose that Overlord has limbs. I'm not sure the Scourge does. Look at these Scourge. They're waiting for the Valkyries to come up. Take down the missile turrets. He's just so worried about the repair potential there. He's just not even interested at all. This one Marine has 2 medics to heal him, and he's like, I'm not going in there. How many of my buddies have died to these sunken colonies? At least 5 or 6. So it's going to take a pause. Mineral only expansion here from last. He's working on more and more Goliaths, working on tanks. He's definitely switching fully over into this mech strategy, which has been so hard for Zerg players to deal with. Protoss, I feel like, has it figured out. Zerg, not so much. We'll see if Zero can do it. I mean, Zero's fighting really, really hard here. He keeps losing Overlords. He has supply block now, which is bad news bears. But Lings and Defiler trying to decide. The Defiler thought about casting something and then just didn't do it. It's like, you know what I could do? Nah, no plagues. No Dark Swarms necessary. Irradiate coming in now for last, a little bit late. We'll see how that works out for him. And a turret? Man, he's just throwing up turrets in front of the Zerg base. That's amazing. Dark Swarm is up. Nice other Dark Swarm here. Lurkers and Lings on top of these tanks. They're pretty unsupported. And by golly, he does break that front quite nicely. Although that Defiler taking some shots. Where the heck did my ability to select things go? There it is. A Dark Swarm here at the 3rd base of last. And there are some Lurkers in the mix there too. Can anything stop this is the question. The response time is pretty good here. We've got tanks. We've got Goliaths. Did that Defiler die and it was inside Dark Swarm? What was that? Also, where the heck is this Lurker? There it is. 9 kills on this Lurker. Are you insane? Look at him not taking damage from anything either. La 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 la. Gonna move over to this Dark Swarm area. La 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 la. Defiler gets inside the Dark Swarm too. We got Lings coming up on the backside of Last's mech army, trying to save these Lurkers alive. This Lurker and this Defiler. Most effective harassment we've seen all game here. 13 kills on that dude. Look at him taking down a Goliath too. Bam! Another kill on this Lurker hero. Getting spines down on stuff. Kind of hard to hit these SCVs as they disappear into that refinery from time to time. Set up at the front here, trying to get some stuff done. And yeah, once again, Lurker completely protected here by this Dark Swarm. Oh no, the Dark Swarm ran out, and the Defiler doesn't have anything to consume except for the Lurker, so it's kind of a counterproductive measure to do that. And life goes back to normal here at the 3rd base for Last. Is that a 5th base? Dang it, Last has a 5th base. Double expanding now as Zero. Up towards that 12 o'clock position. Hydra's chasing away this scouting barracks. Overlord does get picked off there. And the Hydra tech switch here is working pretty darn well. Good golly, Overlords are just not allowed to survive when there are these 5 Vikings cruising around. Ultralisk Cavern coming in now from Zero. Alright, does he have enough time to get Ultras out is my question. I don't know that he does. It's 178 to 139 supply. The Terran player is way up. Last is just killing it, but more of these Dark Swarm Ling Lurker attacks might be enough to allow Zero to get back into this. Great Dark Swarm control. This might be the best Dark Swarm control I've seen since the Jadon game that I cast fairly recently. Dang. Looking good on this. I mean, it's not insanely great, but it's been very well placed. It's really kept his Lurkers alive here. Recognizes the importance of Dark Swarm in this matchup, especially against mech here. Ling's just getting chewed apart by Vultures rather. +2 attack on those guys, +2 armor, and +1 for the Lings. Look at this consume, 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 consume. Any more Dark Swarm? There is the Dark Swarm. Getting on top of SCVs, getting on top of these tanks. They have adrenal glands. The Lings are ready to rock. Another Dark Swarm would be pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty vulnerable base, but where are these Overlords going? You guys aren't Drop Lords. What on earth are you trying to do here exactly? I don't know. Lings keep getting wrecked by Vultures and Spider Mines, though. It's not great. However, more and more Lings are cruising in. Nice Spider Mine hit on all those guys. These are just Overlords who are scouting, I think is what they are. But again, that's when the Valkyries show up and then everybody dies. Tank setting up with this mineral-only expansion for Zero in the bottom right. Goodbye, Lurker. You are toast. What is Mutalisking? Oh, alright. Scouting Barracks is going to die to this flock of Mutas, who are still alive somehow. Very impressed by this. More Dark Swarm, more Lurker play, just trying to dislodge the Terran player from these siege positions. Unsieged tanks doing a lot of damage in this situation. Pretty good against lurkers and zerglings alike. Not bad. Oh, did he attack his own missile turret there so the splash damage kill that lurker? If that was on purpose, I am incredibly impressed by Last's presence of mind there. It is 200 to 144 supply in favor of Last. My goodness, Mutalisks finding a free SCV there. I say economically, both players are pretty even just based by number of bases right now. And really, no hatches have died so far. So, I mean, despite the harassment on both sides, nobody's lost a base yet. Just the patience, the sheer patience on display here by Last is just dead impressive. More consume, more consume. The Defilers are really doing all they can here, but it's a 50 supply lead for the Terran. He looks like he's got a chokehold and a stranglehold on the Zerg player. The tank count is insane. There's already Valkyries out. He just slowly keeps adding to that count to where he has 7 now. Just so the Mutas can't do anything. The Mutas are not coming in here to deal with this. There's no way on earth. Lurkers. There we go. No Defiler for you guys, so you need to run for it. I guess you could stop this command center from landing. This is like a 6th or a 7th base from Last. He's just on fire on his macro right now. Still, the tanks on the high ground are left alone. 5 kills and 4 kills on them. Scouting barracks continuing to be a scouting barracks here. The Mutas are like, I guess these are free tanks? Where the heck are the Valkyries? Guess where they are. They're coming. They are coming for you, friend. And there it is. Oh, gosh, the Mutas. No. Oh, do they mostly live? Yeah, but no. Yeah, but no. It's like that meme. Well, yes, but actually no. All right, so this hatch is going to go down. The 12 o'clock position for 0 is just completely toast right now. I just feel like Last is outclassing 0 pretty heavily. Another hatch goes down in the bottom right here. Tank's extremely patiently pushing on in. And I just don't know where the army comes from. There are some ultras in production, but the tank count is so high. Where is your Dark Swarm? Also, the Overlords getting massacred section of this game has been pretty intense. And the amount of time that 0 has spent supply blocked is actually kind of crazy too here. Anabolic Synthesis coming in for the ultras, allowing them to run a lot faster, which is going to be useful, but enough? I don't know. Where are these guys coming in? They want to kill these Overlords, like to the point that they don't even care that there is a Mutalisk over there to kill. Oh, it's an Ultra drop. Okay, so those Ultras are worth killing, or those Overlords are worth killing for sure. They've got the 6 armor and the +2 attack here. It's not +3, but it's not too shabby either. Wiping out a base. Oh, he plagued his own Ultras a little bit. That's not a good look. Plaguing the Valkyries was fantastic, but plaguing your own Ultralisks is a bad time for sure. Forcing a liftoff on that command center. The Scourger, like, where are the Valkyries? They were just right here. Yeah, they have been avoiding you pretty darn well. Last control of his Valkyries has been pretty amazing. Did he run them home so that we could repair them? I'm trying to decide if that's what happened there. The Ultras coming up this ramp are not doing great. That guy's got 2 kills. This guy, oh, Spider Mines. Spider Mines are so great here. These Vultures actually going to kill this Ultra. They're going to try. Oh, Spider Mines will, though. Spider Mine damage is insanely high. Meanwhile, just expanding up this way. Last is looking pretty good there. These tanks have not been dislodged from this position for quite some time. Ultra's trying to get on top of this. That speed upgrade is actually really important. Again, important for every unit in every RTS game ever made. If your units are faster, they are better in every possible way. And remember how I said these guys have not been dislodged for a while? They got dislodged now. They absolutely did. So it's 175 to 138 supply. The Zerg player has taken his casualties here. 0 does not have a massive army by any stretch of the imagination, but he's making Lings, he's making Ultralisks, he's got Drop Lords. This is what he did in that game versus Flash too. A lot of drop Ultralisks. Kind of really love it, honestly. I need to implement that in the games that I play when I have time to play Brood War. I think we repaired up a lot of the Valkyries. One of them didn't get the memo. Is not repaired, but his buddies... Oh, I guess another one there is also very low in the red. That base, yeah, Mineral in the expansion is back here, but there's nothing to defend it. There are literally no Defilers. There's a handful of Ultras and Lings in the neighborhood, but do they want to bother to save this thing? I don't know. The Scourger trying to get hits off and actually wiping out a couple of these Valkyries. You know what? That was not too bad. A Muta tech switch here might be okay. Does 0 have the money to do so? Kind of. He's got about 300 gas in the bank. It's not a huge number. This is just drop Lings and a Defiler and an Ultralisk. And man, these missile turrets though. I mean, I guess... Oh, the Defiler died instantly. What the... Oh, maybe a Spider Mine. Wow. That was a well-defended drop there from last. I mean, a couple Lurkers got out, but they're in detection range, and so that's never good for them at all. Yeah, this hatch does go down here. The Lurkers get wrecked as well. And 196 to 138 supply. It's a worse situation than it was before for Zero. So, I mean, I don't know how he's going to come back here. The good news is he's kept a bunch of his bases alive. The bad news is I literally have no idea where his army is. Oh, the Spider Mines, though. He keeps trying to drop Lings over here, but there are a million Spider Mines. And these turrets are absolutely doing their job versus the Drop Lords. Doing insanely well. There's too many tanks here. The Ultras are not going to get this done. And by that I mean they clean up every single one of the tanks. Holy crap. That actually worked really well for Zero. He needed this kind of a victory. Meanwhile, pushing up to the 12 o'clock position is last. Lings cruising on in. These Cracklings with three fully upgraded Cracklings, mind you. No. Remember how you handled the base last time? Oh, I guess maybe you don't need drop if you just get right on top of these guys. Man, tanks that are not in siege mode are kind of incredible. Nice Plague, though. Plague catching a bunch of this mech here for last. But it's 117 total supply from Zero. He just doesn't have the army to handle this. He's trying, but I mean, this is not the Dark Swarm. This is not the Zerg Swarm that we expect to see in a ZVT-style situation. This scouting barracks down in the south is finally going to go down. It's been a while. And the 6 o'clock position for last does get taken down. You know what? 125 to 158 supply is about the best position the Zerg player has been in this entire game. Not the entire game, but for the last little while, for sure. Ling's running on in to just basically force Spider Mines to explode on them instead of on the Defiler. Liking that. Vulture's finding a group of drones, but they get picked up and rescued? Two of them get picked up and rescued. That's nice, but that's income that is not happening for Zero right now. Top left-hand base has been taken by last. He's just economically on fire right now. Cracklings, even Cracklings versus Vultures are not that good. That explosive damage that they do is just, ugh. Ultra better. Ultra much better. And the Vultures will die. So a bit of a calm here at the moment. Trying to retake his north position here. Zero. I kind of like it. Like, I support a situation. Again, the Dark Swarm stuff, Dark Swarm Plague Ling stuff is what I'm talking about. That is how this works. Forcing a cancel on expansion top left right now. Defiler ready to rock. We have a bit of a mech army pushing across the map right now from last. Bunch of Vultures always throwing down Spider Mines right now. I mean, the APM for last is about 325, and it has been throughout most of the game when it wasn't 400. And boy howdy, this 3 o'clock position for Zero is going to go down to the tanks. It's just not enough. I don't think it's enough here. He did get the Gamete Meiosis upgrade, but he never went for any actual queens that I saw. Hatch down. Zerg down. 195 to 133 supply. Last, he just has the economy and the production facilities to just make you wish you were dead as a Zerg player. More and more tanks cruising on up right now. 3, 2 here. Oh. That supply is just not great. It's not great. Dark Swarm, the great equalizer when all is said and done here. Nice Plague again on these mech units, but just not enough units other than the Defiler to really take advantage of this here. A lot of Ultras down. Again, Dark Swarm, not that great against things that are splash damaging, including Spider Mines. Hey, look, it's the Queens! I mean, I don't know. These are desperation queens, right? Broodling, 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 broodling. Alright, so you took out a couple tanks there. But I don't know that those were the problem. These guys are more of your problem. This is why your 12 o'clock position is going to die. The queens are useless in the situation, just getting rocked by the Goliaths. Throwing down that spawn broodling stuff. like your life depends on it. Lings and Ultras trying to attack on in, but there are too many tanks and too many Vultures and too many Spider Mines to the ground army to really do much here at all. You can't go for Guardians because the Valkyries exist. I don't know. I mean, have we seen a Zerg player win against a Terran player who went for this many tanks? I just don't know what the answer is. I know what the answer is for Protoss, but I don't know what the answer is for Zerg, and it's kind of driving me crazy. Maybe the answer, as usual, is just don't let the Terran player get here, you know? This is a victory for Zero. Like, don't get me wrong, he's just down 60 supply overall right now. And Last is expanding behind this as well, so that's a decent victory. He does manage to save his 12 o'clock position. No, he doesn't. It's gone. He saves this expansion. He hasn't really bothered to replant his 9 o'clock position yet either, which is not a good sign. It's a sign that you're mineral starved like crazy. Another base down here, or maybe just scouting around to see what's going on. This is just so many tanks, just groups of tanks and Vultures and Spider Mines and Goliaths everywhere. More spawn broodling stuff is happening. Broodlings do have an attack, but they're really fragile and they die extremely quickly. So, I mean, at this point, it's what? 2 tanks, 4 Goliaths, and 3 missile turrets at a time being produced by Last. Meanwhile, it is 2 Ultras at a time. Yeah, I mean, the queens are down. You spawn Broodling to tank, congratulations, but all your queens are out. And just Ultralisk fighting against insurmountable odds, and that's it. Zero taps out, and Last is your winner in a full 31 minutes and 10 seconds. That was a good time. That was a good ZVT action all across the map here. Again, I'm really looking for suggestions on what Zerg players do in this situation, because queens are not it. Queens are not the answer. Lings and Ultras, I guess it's just like really precise Ling Ultra drops into Dark Swarm situations over and over again. Maybe you really have got to kill more bases than one, right? He did end up shutting down this 6 o'clock position for Last, but that was it. You kind of pushed into this mineral-only expansion. The natural base, the main, was never touched. The third base got harassed a little bit Last, but I mean, other than that, he's been kind of left alone for the majority of the game. Didn't lose too many SCVs. His economy was fantastic. Meanwhile, the attacks, so many hatcheries died over and over again here. So many drones got killed with the Vulture harassment, and Last was just on top of his game. And Zero did his best, but in the end, that was it. He was toast. Whew. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about here? I'm trying to figure it out. No, I think that's it. I mean, I think we've seen this game before is all I'm saying. Terran players know the recipe. And it's really, really hard to deal with is what it is. I need to find a really long ZVT with Jaedong. I have a ton of ZVPs with Jaedong. We've seen him do that over and over again. He's very good at it, but I want to see how he handles late game versus Terran, because you don't get to be the best Zerg player of all time in Brood War if you are bad against late game ZVT, right? So he's got to be good against it. I'm going to do some searching. I'll see what I can do here in the next couple of days. Mysterious. All right. Overall, 244,000 points for Last. 239,000. No, the other way, actually. Hold on. Zero had 244,000 points. That's got to be this units tab, doesn't it? How the what? He just produced more units. Yeah, he won this. I don't know how these points work, you guys. I've seen your comments being like, how does this make any sense? I don't know. I don't know why they have points anyway. It's kind of a leftover relic from 90s days when you beat levels and you got points, and that's if you got more points, you did better. Yeah, I mean, he won this, despite the fact that this is incredibly lopsided. Maybe he just produced 200-ish more units than Last did, and that's all that he needed to... Anyway, Last killed this. Structures here are pretty useless in ZVT, and then overall, I mean, Zero's economy was fine. He mined more gas, a lot more gas, actually, than Last did. He mined about 7,000 more minerals in the grand scheme of things, and a bunch more spent here from Last to about 4,000 more, which is a big deal in these matches. So My voice is giving out. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up then. That's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.